London in 5 minutes. London, a poem written around about the year 1800 by William Blake, is about a man wandering through the streets of London at a time when London was a place of huge importance and value. It was thought of as something great and important. So here we are going to get the other side of London. It takes the form of a journey as he goes. At the beginning, in the first stanza, we notice that he is describing himself as wandering. So it's quite casual, the way that he is moving through the streets. And he tells us that the streets are chartered. And that suggests to us that they are kind of run by businesses. So they are looked after by money and by important people. But then he follows it up by telling us that the chartered Thames flows beyond there. And the question we have to ask ourselves is, how can you control and run a river? Now, having then introduced to us the idea that certain people run the streets for probably not the reasons they should, he then introduces the double meaning of the word mark. Mark as in noticing, in this case, and mark as in a mark on your face, a sign of something here. He notices that in everybody, the alliteration W makes clear that they all are weak and sad in what they're doing. In the next, he emphasises this with a constant repetition of every. There are no exceptions to what he's talking about here. This is not just about people from poorer backgrounds. Everybody is suffering in this idea of the key central line here, the key central image, the mind-forged manacles. This is what he says he notices in everybody. Manacles are like handcuffs, I suppose, chains that chain up your hands. And the idea here is they have been forged in people's minds. So, basically people are chained up in their own minds. That's what he's suggesting. So they need to break free. And he's going to suggest that this happens because of the way that the world, and London particularly, is run. It's also worth noting that he says, I hear, afterwards, and that in this, certainly from this point on, the focus is on the sense of sound, as though the idea that it is hidden from what you see. You need to listen out for it. This then goes on to a list of 3 particular people: a chimney sweeper, a child chimney sweeper as we know, a soldier guarding the palace, and a harlot, a prostitute. 3 people of different kinds and different sorts who are suffering because of what else is going on. They all are making sounds, cry, sigh, and cursing that reflect the sadness of their situation. And each one of them is reflected in the institution that should be helping them or that is exploiting them. The chimney sweep is associated with the blackening church. Every blackening church is appalled by the chimney sweeper's cry. Why? Well, the church should be helping, but aren't, even though this is suffering children. The complex image runs in blood down palace walls, his sigh runs in blood down palace walls, suggests that the soldier is being sacrificed for the good of the monarchy, the king, queen, royal family. And that complex image of running in blood makes us think of the idea of revolution that may come someday. But then he emphasises, but most through midnight streets I hear. And he emphasises that the harlot is youthful. This is a young prostitute. Already that brings in exploitation. This young prostitute is giving birth to a newborn infant. The idea of something that is innocent, something that has never had done anything wrong, just been born into this world. It too is making sound and is crying, but the first sound it hears is the blast of the youthful harlot. And the impact is the plague this will give to the marriage hearse, an oxymoron that seems to me to reflect the hypocrisy of the middle classes. Middle classes, people who are married but still go on and take on prostitutes. And a hearse, being a car that's used at a funeral, okay, or a transport used at a funeral, suggests that what's happening is the marriages are being killed off.